It is November 9 and we have a new PTR update. This is number 4, I think. PTR 3 it says. Could be 3 or 4, whatever it is. Blizzard is here again, and they say, today we've deployed our final update for the Warcraft 3 Reforged PTR with changes based on your feedback and testing data. Please note that we will continue to make adjustments and improvements before we release the patch at the end of the month. So they will go back to the drawing board with 3 weeks, but then they will not let us know what they're doing and not let us feedback it before they push it live. I don't like that. Because there have been a lot of things that were not really that great, even though updates here are getting tamer and tamer. I would like for them to push the final thing before sending it live. It just feels very risky and very dangerous. But hey, usually there's a hot fix after a patch, so maybe we have to rely on that. It would definitely influence the upcoming War 3 Champions finals. So what did they change? Ladies and gentlemen, you see it here. The Night Elves are getting attacked once again after Remo Demo got his wish of a shorter mana burn last time. This time, I think this is Grubby, eh? Pretty sure this is coming from Grubby. Moonwell mana regeneration reduced from 1.5 to 1.35 is the nerf for the Night Elves. The buff for the Night Elves, or the removed nerf, is the mana burn range is back to 300. So now I'm really curious because Moonwells got patched in the past, and that was the Matt Morris patch. And usually, whatever Matt Morris did was not good for the game. So let us check Liquipedia what region Moonwells had before. They had 1.25 for the majority of the game. And then all of a sudden, they got buffed to 150 or 1.5. And now, they're getting nerfed from 1.5 to 1.35. So, the Moonwells are not as bad as they were for the majority of Warcraft 3, but they're not as good as they were the past 3 years. Instead, the mana burn changes are getting reverted. The Abomination, who were shrunk, basically, to fit the size of a knight, gets their size back. The turn rate is still in, I believe. Interesting. Need to get my hands on it and test it. People have reported that this is rather a nerf than a buff to reduce their collision size because they wanted them to be bulky, stand in the front, and reducing the collision size prevented that or made it harder. I don't know if this was ever properly tested by anyone. You could attack more targets when the Abomination were smaller. So that is certainly a damage nerf, but a tankiness buff. Or they stay as they are, really. Nerubian Towers. They were addressed very early on in the patch when they reduced the cooldown of the attacks from 1.0 to 1.5. Now they dial it back because they nerfed the Nerubian Tower further in the last patch, and this is now evening things out a little, but still a double nerf to the Nerub Tower. Also, important bug fixes. Re-edit the audio pass in the campaign. I'm still sad that they dialed the campaign back to before 1.33 because some scripts didn't work. Guys, then fix the scripts and fix the triggers. As far as I know, the updated campaign was a lot better, was a lot more functional. And that's not the case anymore. Basically, the campaign was almost unedited when it came out with Reforged. Then they got this huge patch in 1.33 that updated a lot of the campaign. And now they're taking the update away that they released 2 years later, which also leaves the campaign in a pretty broken and unfunctional state. Because some triggers aren't functioning and some weather effects are not working, well then, I don't know. Hopefully they get re-edited at some point, because otherwise that's just sad. Fixed in issues where assets would unload unintentionally. This was a funny bug where every day at 9 a.m. some icons, for example, would just disappear and turn into a green 1x1 field. That was funny. And updated the camera zoom functionality to support more granular zoom values, i.e. 1935. So the slider is gone, but we can enter a number now, just like on Warcraft Champions. And this is awesome. That is really cool. I love it. This is really cool. I don't know if it breaks anything for custom games, but this is awesome. All right. That leaves us with the, I guess, finished patch. So from a functionality standpoint, we win the save load functionality, which, in my opinion, is good that we get it back. I don't know if this will work on Warcraft Champions. And in my opinion, this is not enough. This is bringing us back from Stone Age to Bronze Age. But if you want to make people really happy, you implement resume from replay. Otherwise, it's not 2023. Like, this is not a win. This is not this is just bringing something back that was there 20 years ago. Camera zoom, awesome, really cool. Love that they do this. The bug is fixed that, you can hover over a hero bar and it didn't display the exact HP. That's really nice. This campaign thing really bugs me. Like, this campaign thing really, really, really bugs me. Good that they didn't delete the audio pass, which means that a lot of updated audio will still remain in the game. Okay, balance-wise, humans get nothing but buffs. Militia buffed, Bash buffed, Paladin Devotion Aura buffed, more streamlined supply via Keep and Castle. Priest, this is a quality of life change that makes the spell easier to use. Archmage, more survivability in the early game, and Paladin, more move speed. This is a lot. On some things, this is very small, so it is a lot of a little. But some stuff is also pretty crazy. Bash gets a buff. This Devotion is pretty sick. And human is not in a bad state at all. So I'm very curious how this leaves them. Night Elves get a lot of nerfs. MOONWELLS, of course, is a very drastic change that influences everything. It influences first heroes in general. It weakens their unique ability to go for every tavern hero. It weakens Dryads, Bears, Talents, heroes, of course. Every unit, because you heal with it, of course. I never liked the buff in the first place, and I said this a lot of times. But in combination with Immo nerf and Mana Flare nerf and buffs to other races like this and this, is it the time to do this? I'm very sure it is the right thing for the game to dial it back. But is this the patch? We'll see about that. So, with the mana burn change being reverted, Demon Hunter is definitely in a great spot again. Warden will be in a great spot again. This is not too bad, as there's not too many use cases for that, and it was absolutely necessary. So Night Elf gets dialed back, and the Warden should be pretty fun. Maybe it's right. Maybe it's too much, but this is either the wrong... It's definitely not the wrong thing. It is probably maybe the wrong time. But we'll see. I will open up the phone lines later so people can tell me what they think about it. Undead. Very weak buffs on a passive. Cripple is kind of cool. I really like this spell. It's an amazing spell. Now 100 mana. More incentive. We will probably still not see it, but more incentive on Cripple is always good. Taking or shaving off a lot of lumber from Skeletal Mastery is also pretty cool without endangering or without putting us in danger of too many Necro Wagon rushes. I like that. Narrow Tower was an absolute necessity to address this. And I don't think it's nerfed too hard. 2 seconds on a hero has to be. Like, this had to be addressed at some point. And I'm glad they do it. And found a cool way to do it. Turn rates improved. I think, like, some people complained, well, it feels unusual to use these units now. Well, get used to it. It's a buff. A small one, but it's a buff. Dreadlord movement speed will be noticeable, especially versus Night Elf Mass Air and against human, of course. It's not a game changer, but it's definitely quality of life. I still think the narrow hurts them against Night Elf and human, and nothing outweighs that. So they will be in a weaker spot compared to human, as they only get buffs. So a matchup that is already human favored will get more human favored. And Night Elves, I'm still having a hard time seeing how Night Elf is supposed to play against Maskarks. And Maskark's not fun. Panda is automatically weaker. Warden is stronger, of course. But yeah, that will be the task for the Night Elf, I think. How to deal with Maskarks. Could be a boring meta ahead. I still miss a nerf for Frenzy. I still miss, by the way, a nerf to Sundering Blades. This is... Knights are so strong, and now you enable them earlier. This is tough. Orc gets all the buffs. I think they needed all the buffs. I'm curious if this is a bit too much, or if that will be relevant at all. If that, like, that is what, 5 seconds for every torrent. Not bad. Not bad at all. But yeah, I'm every orc can be happy. Every orc can be happy. I'm not sure if that will be the sickest help versus human. I guess this will even out. Like, their power level both get raised exclusively. So we'll see if the Headhunters are coming back with that. if we will see Tauren versus Spellbreakers or something. Could be cool changes. I'm in favor of all of them. But yeah, this has to be monitored. Firelord stays as it is, needs to be addressed. And they buffed it. This could still be extreme. Incinerate mana to 3. I think the lava spawns are fine now. I would still like to see lava spawns in general being a bit addressed, but it's a little help. It's fine. Items. Also, nothing got changed here. I'm in favor of the Tome of Retraining. Don't really mind. Step of Teleportation. Big fan. Crystal Ball. Might need 3 charges. Might need 3 charges here. But becoming a consumable. Nice. Ring of Protection plus 3 removed from the drop table. I would have rather seen the Ring of Protection plus 3 moving up to the Spot of Claws. And the plus 4 being deleted. Claws plus 4 increased to plus 5. Not a fan. I don't see the reason for it. A lot of people are yelling they want the claws plus 5 back. Not me. I think the drop table before this change back to plus 5 was in one of the best spots it ever was. Just lack of variety. And to me it sucks, but okay. This is good. The parry up that it costs more, and the changes to creeps are also very good. Adding Hammerfall in springtime in general is also good. Rotating Autumn Leaves and Tide Hunters out. Bit odd, but hey, that is okay. So, where does this leave us? Plus 5 is perfect. They used to be plus 6. That is not an argument. When will people understand that? Just because something had a certain value in the past doesn't mean that the middle between now and then is the right thing to do. That makes no sense. Is anyone complaining that plus 4 is too strong? Is anyone complaining that plus 4 is too weak? I don't think so. So we have a good middle ground here. Plus 5 can still decide early games. Plus 5 will bring power to a Lich and to a Blade Master back again. I don't like it. But I don't want to spend too much time with a plus 1 change. So, we had this balance sheet. And we had certain goals. And I want to get over them real quick. Again. Our goals were make humans slightly less susceptible to early game and mid game harass from Night Elf and slightly tune down the power of certain elements of Night Elf late game versus humans specifically without weakening Elf substantially in other matchups. Well, we weakened, they weakened every single Night Elf unit in all matchups. Oops. The militia duration, totally fine. Immolation tuned down a bit, totally fine. Fairy Dragon addressed, very fine. But that all together might tip the scales towards human, or the Warden cleans up. We'll see. Tune down the tier 3 power spike of human to compensate for slightly more streamlined easy early game, specifically against undead. This is not done at all. Be careful not to overbuff human in general. This is not done. Nothing got nerfed. The tier 3 power spike is still there, and the early game is more stable. To be a little blunt here, Age of Humba. I don't see anything that could, or that does really threaten them. Something at tier 3 needs to be nerfed for human with the buffs they get. Doesn't have to be much. And I'm still in favor of removing Sundering Blades, which would be enough, but something about tier 3 human has to be made weaker because we raise the early game, then we want to lower the tier 3. Increasing the overall potency by orc very slightly, mostly targeted towards early game harass options versus human. Headhunters are back, they bring it. Walkers are enabled, they bring it. For the late game also they are enabled via upgrades. I am all in favor of the orc changes. Night Elf vs Undead matchup by toning down the power spike of Ghoul Frenzy timing and Undead slow effects. Undead slow effects addressed. But the frenzy timing, still a thing. 9 minutes, nightmare, and off we go. Not a fan. With a weaker Demon Hunter, with a stronger Warden, maybe Warden is the way. But then, Warden gets slapped by that Moonwell nerf. This needs adjustments from Night Elves for sure. And again, I worry that there's no real solution to gargoyles. But I think the undead expansion has been made weaker with the nerf to narrow, so that's a good thing. Banshee's still the same. Be careful not to over nerf undead, so it's not impossible to play if you're not happy. I think undead isn't over nerfed. I think the narrow nerf is definitely needed. The Dreadlord will be a buff for sure, but I would have loved to see something to Fiends maybe. And I guess the best buff to Undead is the nerfs of other races. Make the item table more interesting and balanced. 50-50. Some wins, some losses there in my opinion. Streamline builds done that. Quality of life a little bit addressed as well. So yeah. That's my opinion on things. I don't know if the world around me is burning already. Could be. I haven't looked at anything. Where's Dondo? I don't know. I know that SaveOrcas wanted to join me, but I'm not sure if he's around now. So yeah, that's my take for now. Item drop table, big point in my opinion. Right now the drop table is super boring with all the rings. Well, one ring gets removed. But yeah, not a fan. Will this result in a more balanced game than before? I'm having a hard time seeing that, to be honest. I have. Will it be a more fun meta? In general, when you take things away, it's oftentimes not more fun. So we will have less spells for Night Elves as a whole. That's probably not more fun for them. Heroes will be squishier in total due to the ring nerf. We'll see. It's, to me, a little bit, I said this in the last patch already, it's somewhat of a negative power creep. Where things get less and less powerful instead of the regular power creep where we get more explosions and more blink. Still, some things could be the right way. And not to meme too much, but if you revert changes that Matt Morris did, you're usually on the right track. And we'll have to see how this turns out. I mean, they heard from us a lot. I don't think just to repeat that now has any value. They can listen to the old one. We have this. Maybe this needs to be said. Meta develops incredibly slow in Warcraft 3. This patch is like, what, 9 months old? And only in the past couple of weeks did human adjust the playstyle to how it's best in this patch. That was a long, long, long time. So maybe all the Night Elves have to play Warden now. Maybe Tauren are becoming a thing. Maybe the future of undead is to cripple everything and everyone. Maybe that is what it is. And people have to be creative and fast. Nobody can really foresee what the future holds and how this will play out. So, I guess we'll see. I'm still very cautious in giving praises because I foresee that the game will be in a worse state than before the patch. But I could be totally wrong, and we'll see about that. I would still like to see different drop tables, but yeah, we discussed this before. Okay, it seems like Orcas isn't around either. Okay, I'm in the Back to Warcraft Discord. And if you want to join the cast and tell us what you think about this update, let us know. Keep it quick. Keep it civil. Looking at you, people in the Night Elf Discord. No, you don't need any teasing today. That was probably a shock. You don't need any teasing today. Sorry, I take it back. But keep it civil. If someone wants to join me, join me. If you see that we're here with 2 people already. Ah! The man, the myth, the legend. SaveOrcas. If someone wants to join me, join me. Oh, I hear myself.
If you see that we're here with 2 people already.
I hear myself. That's not good. SaveOrcas, fix.
Hello, can you hear me?
Ah, there we go. Now, the man himself behind the community balance proposition. How do you like what you see today?
Hi, Neo. Hi, Neo. Sorry, I missed the talk. I was waiting for Don Dalari, but he's offline. I didn't know you started the discussion. So I didn't hear what you said. First thought, a good thing that they reverted the Demon Hunter change. And the Moonwell change, interesting. I can say that we had this in our draft of suggested changes, but we didn't include it because it's kind of nerfs Night Elves across the board. I don't know, 1-2% in each matchup. And we thought maybe we can address balance with targeted changes instead of Moonwell change, but it's possible. I think it's one option to consider, sure.
Yeah, in my discussion, I said, I think it's definitely the right thing to do, but it might not be the right time.
Maybe. Night Elves won't be happy. The other races find it logical. So,
and then the question is, are these Night Elves ever happy?
Let's say it this way. I hope Blizzard will monitor the changes for months or so after the change.
Yeah.
So on Christmas, we can have maybe a slight adjustment based on the results.
Yeah.
Let's hope.
Let's hope.
Yeah. I have a few more things to say, Neo.
Yes.
Yeah.
The stage is all yours, dude.
Yeah. So one thing we talked about is if we can make a few final maybe suggestions for Blizzard to consider. Not that we think we are smarter than them or we have the right to do so, but at least something they can think of. So first of them is Ring of Protections. We have Ring +4 at level 2, 30%, 33% chance to drop, and we have Ring +5 that costs 300 gold at level 3. So Neo, what would you do if you get a Ring +5 in the game right now?
Well, I'd probably sell it, right?
Sell it because you can get Ring +4, right? It's a very high chance, right? So to adjust for that, maybe it's better to have Ring +3 on level 2, maybe, just math-wise. Second thing about Crystal Ball, we feel like 2 charges a bit too low. And since it's a new item, it might be better to make it 3 charges. And personally, 3 charges of Scan Reveal is not as good as 2 illusions. I would pick 2 illusions to tank, to scout, do whatever I need. So, and the reveal in the lab costs 50 gold, right?
Yeah.
So I'd rather sell the current crystal ball for money, and as a night elf or human, I can build a farm near the laboratory and reveal for 50 gold. So 3 charges would be better. Yeah. Well, Dondelare had a few more things to say about balance. What I remember, what I wanted to say is that if we talk about ultimates, I know Blizzard increases the power of Bladestorm and Volcano, right?
Yeah.
But we want them to think that if they really want players to see using ultimates, it's more about changing the mana cost. Like, if I have a Fire Lord and I spend 200 mana on Volcano, it can be cancelled right away in a few seconds. And what? Do I choose to use it or not? Because I can save 200 mana and use it on Incinerate, 3 mana. I'd rather incinerate for 2 minutes than spend 200, right, on Volcano. So please consider reducing the mana cost of ultimates. Then they would be much more fun to play. Yeah.
I guess at least make it so that if you buy a mana potion, you have the ultimate guaranteed.
Yeah, mana pot, what, gives you 125 mana.
Yeah.
So that's why, speaking of 2 changes which suggested, for the Lich, the ultimate costs 250 mana after the statue nerf, after the Dark Ritual nerf. Lich will never get such mana, and if they get it, they will spend it on Nova. There is no reason to spend it on the ultimate.
Yeah.
So most expensive ultimate, all ultimates cost at most 200 mana. This one is 250. I mean, why not to reduce it? And same, many players suggested to reduce the duration of the Potem's ultimate, because who wants to stand with a hero for 45 seconds in one place? Can we reduce it to 30 like all other ultimates and make it a little bit more potent, more impactful?
Yeah.
Yeah.
More
damage
per second, fewer seconds.
Yeah,
I'm
so
taking notes of what you say. So yeah.
Yeah, these are sort of not relevant to the balance, but I feel like logic changes. Same thing, we ask for a few changes for the tavern heroes, like reduce mana shield to 10 mana, or to improve the engineering upgrade for the tinker, because it's not linear, right? I mean, changes to tavern heroes bring lots of fun to players, because any race can pick a tavern hero and play with it, right? Try something new, at least a little bit. Now we have only Fire Lord to play with. Yeah.
I mean, some of the other heroes are still pretty good, but yeah, especially with the Moonwell changes, this of course changes the dynamic of Night Elves plus the Tavern Heroes as well. So we'll see if we see more or less Tavern Heroes now. I don't know. All right. Is that it from your side?
Well, Don Dollar is not here. I don't remember everything. Oh, one thing, Warden, 7 on level 3 is too much. Just 566. Please don't make it more than that. 566? Yes, I remember that. And for Archmage, sorry, small change. We increase the strength, but we should decrease the intelligence. Because every hero, if you look, it gains on average 6 stats per level. And if you add strength to Archmage and not decrease intelligence, the hero will be sort of an exception. It will get too strong, right?
Yeah.
So that should be counterbalanced.
All right. I think the correct values were in your balance proposal.
You can open it.
Yeah, I got it. So
I can send you the latest version, Neo. Sorry, the one that we sort of discussed.
I got version 2.0, if that's the last one.
I have 3.0. Yes.
Oh,
so you can
damn.
click on every. Yeah, we were preparing. And speaking of, if Moonwells get nerfed, then Demon Hunter Immolation should not get such big mana nerf. I don't think 10 is good then. Maybe back to 5.
I think you have to allow me to look at it.
Can I?
I don't know.
Can you send me your address? I don't know.
Yeah, I send a request. You just have to. Should be this.
Let me. Okay, 1 second. This is Don Dollar's document. I think I can share it.
I hope he allows us to share it with the world.
Yes.
But it's his fault when he's not there on patch day. Come on. What is he doing with his life?
Yeah, since I'm taking the role of Don Dolare, Crypt Fiend was changed to increase the rate of the Crypt Fiend was his idea. And we kindly asked to not introduce it because players already got used to Fiend's mechanic right now to maneuver them and to control them the way they are, increasing the turn rate. Okay, it's a buff, but maybe it's not necessary.
Yeah. I mean, it would probably just take weeks or something to get used to it. I don't know if that's the best reason not to buff anything because players aren't used to it. Like, get used to it, bro. Put some work in.
Okay, well, then it will be a little some help to Crypt Fiend micro. Yeah, I think these are pretty much main changes. I remember the Tauren buff was a little bit too much in comparison to Knights and Abominations that have 40 seconds build time, and now Taurens with 5 food, they build 39 seconds. That's a bit too fast, I mean. But it's a game. If you want to make such change, fine.
Yeah, for now. Unless we see Tauren every time, we'll be fine. But I don't think so. There's too many counters to that, I guess. Just to sum this up real quick, when it comes to items, I said the exact same thing than you did. Remove the ring +4. Instead, make the ring +3. Circlet, yeah, would still love to see it. Every single one of these proposals is probably better.
Wait, you know what we wanted to do? We wanted actually to ask chat to vote on one or two of these versions. So there are 3 versions, guys.
All right,
and
let's do it.
We want to know your opinion. Can you read them?
Yeah, sure. I have to. Okay, version 1 about the circlet, everybody. You know, the circlet is a big point of discussion. At the moment, it gives +2 to all stats. It can be crept on level 3. It can be bought. And sometimes it's too strong and sometimes it's too weak. It's always a point of discussion. So what do we do with the circlet is the main question. Version 1, the proposal is move it to level 2, so where the claws and the gloves are. Give +1 to all stats and +1 extra to the main attribute. So for example, for a TC, it would be +2 to strength and 1/1 on intelligence and agility. Decrease the cost to 150. Second version, move it to to level 2 and +2 to all stats. That is basically how it was the entire time until it was changed because it was very strong. Or version 3, keep it at level 3 and +2 to all stats. So basically the way it is now.
So you can vote for 1 out of 3 or 2 out of 3. Maybe you like a pair.
Yeah. Let me put up a poll here in the chat. New poll.
We really want to know the answers because I think there are so many opinions. Like
what to do with the circlet? Introduce 2/1/1 circlet for circlet 2 oh shit, I can't type anymore. 2 circlet level 2 or 2 circlet level 3. You guys can vote now. It's up on the Twitch. Yeah, I have a clear I don't want to influence the people, but maybe people know already. I have a clear favorite here. I got a clear number 2 and I got a clear number 3. How about you?
I don't like having only 3 items on level 2. So I wish I'm probably 1 and 2. Because I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah. 1 and 2. That would be my vote.
I hate number 2 with a passion. I think it's way too strong. But I said this so many times, dude. It's getting really old. So I think 1 would be the best, 3 would be the second best, and 2 would be by far the worst.
Okay, these are our personal opinions, Blizzard.
Yeah.
I mean, don't think of them too strong. Yeah.
2 circuit level 2 is leading by a lot. Guys, that shows again that Twitch chat has no clue about Warcraft 3. You guys have no clue. You guys just like it because it was the way for 20 years. Which is not right. You're fools, chat. You're fools. Main attribute is not always the best attribute. Okay. Except the Shadow Hunter, when is it not the best?
Well, you get +1 extra attack, so that's good, right?
That's solid. I mean, some casters are more important for their spells, like a DK, like a Paladin, like a Panda. But even then, like, it's really not that much.
Well, I also feel like the first version, okay, I know Blizzard doesn't want to experiment much, but this could be slightly interesting, like what would be Blade early game now if it's 150 gold and different a little bit. I would be curious. Will Happy still buy Circlet?
Yeah, good question, man. Good question.
Yeah. So on some observation that Blizzard didn't introduce that many creative ideas that we placed, right? I think they are very cautious with their changes. They are choosing a safe patch. Lots of little buffs, almost no nerfs. The only creative change, I would say, this crystal ball idea, which you and Carson are sort of debating who was the author.
Yeah, I don't know, man. He's taking a lot of drugs recently, I guess. But no, I think it's a very good idea, but I'm also with you that it should be 3. Apart from that, yeah, you're right. Like there's no game changer, I guess. The little wild change is what they did to Keep and Castle, but that's coming from you.
Yeah, we had several other creative ideas, but we didn't include them. We sort of wanted to build trust, make it more on conservative side, but we throw like a few cool ideas. Like lots of people were excited about Beatles getting Spite Carapace, Banshee possession.
Yeah, I love that.
Even I think Fortitude wrote in Back to Warcraft channel. Do you know what he wrote?
No.
After all, that's Fortitude, right?
After all is Fortitude, yeah.
He said, I wish this change would be implemented. Really, his nickname for the Banshee. He wrote it. I don't know. And he said, I think he translated from Chinese. He said deployed. Very rare word to use.
Yeah.
He said, yeah, so, but they didn't get in. So I guess not this time.
Not this time. But hey, at least we're getting something new, and maybe once the patch is out, we can present crazy ideas.
Yeah, sure. Why not? For the future.
Yeah. You had a big part in creating this paper, and also like in total the patch. I mean, your fingerprints are clearly on it when we look at the Archmage, when we look at the human keep supply, etc. So this guy is the one to blame if things go bad.
Sure, yeah, write me your...
No, man, I am really happy that you and Dondo especially put so much work into this, because you looked at pretty much every unit and every combination and every interaction as well. And very, very few people do this. So a big thank you.
Yeah, thank you too, Neo. You're leading our Warcraft 3 community. I hope you will have a good time in a week at Rara Land.
Me too, man. Me too.
Looking forward for that.
Yeah, me too, man. Just 1 week away. Until then, take care, buddy.
Yeah, bye-bye.